You were moved.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Dimension Racing TV. John Paul with you with Thilo Falkenberg. Chris Ford will be with us in pit lane, joining us somewhat soon. Here for Realistic NASCAR's inaugural Kyoto 400, the XRR 216 laps of this Kyoto Oval. And Thilo, as you and I know from oval racing, it's an endurance race.
Yes, it is, especially for 216 laps. We're about to start here. Those guys have to calm down to bring us a calm, nice race, and we're about to get the green flag here.
Yep, ready for the green flag in this inaugural run. About 16, 17 cars here. Green flag is out, race underway. Mellon gets a great start, almost a little jump around the outside. Gets a good run around the outside, field spread out, straggled at the back. We've got 20 cars starting, a couple cars off, that's Kapal. Laszlo is also off. Laszlo and Kapal off at the back. They're both spinning around on the inside. Track still green.
And we stay green, it seems. Cars already around
coming off
turn 3.
Got 2 cars.
Oh, and a spin! Stephen Martin spun! And that's a big one. That should be a caution.
Huge
that
crash here at the back. We'll stay green here. They are at the back. Largely out of the way. Kapal is going on. Laszlo is on his way. So Krumpush, Blauhoff off to the lead here early on. Again, tires got fairly cold, restricted to R3s only, so it takes a little bit of time for the tires to come up to operating temperature here. Not much damage of note on some of these cars involved in early incidents.
Love with the fast lap here, 39.09.
And if they can keep that draft method going, they will stay well ahead. And again, a couple incidents early on, but all at the back of the pack, of course, stayed green. 3.5 car action. I say 3.5 because there's one car just tagging on the back. That's Letterio, Stefanov, and Conradi. Altogether, Shablom also at the back. So 4 cars here, Bakir in the 6th, 7th, 8th, Conradi, and
Contact!
Shablom cuts across the inside of the track, pulls all the way up. Brilliant job to keep that going straight.
Great save there.
Picks up a little damper damage on his front right from that. Well, it's one of the things you have to keep an eye on. You have to be alert for. You have to be alert for your surroundings, otherwise you get incidents like that. Someone can be there. The draft effect in lift for speed is huge. It can suck you up real quick, and if you're not aware that there's someone there coming up, you could result in a huge accident.
And now we've got the scene that a 3-car group just is at the back of a 2-car group, and they are trying to get around each other. That's for 7th position, Ivanov, Lettiello, Conradi, Stefanov, and Huvinen.
Laszlo been given penalty for improper pit entrance. He'll still be finishing his service. And he'll retire instead. Battle for third, fourth is on between Holmberg and Dabrowski. Now, you're not really battling. It can look like it. What you're working on is, it's called a slingshot drafting technique. You know, if you've ever been in Fragmaster or Wolf server for any amount of time, you know, this is how they work. You know, one car will overtake around the inside after getting a good run, overtake going into the corner, and just keep doing that over and over again. And that's the way that in Live for Speed currently, it's that's the way you have to draft to be fast.
Moreover, with this slingshot drafting caused by the physics, you can really make a difference by a 3-car draft. A 3-car draft is a lot faster, still relatively safe.
Got a 5-car gaggle back here in the 6, 7, 8. Melon sliding! Melon contact again! It never fails. Both times I've mentioned the pack he's been in has had something happen.
First his teammate Sjoblom was off there with a big time save, and now Melin with also a very great save. I mean, he had speeds over 240 kilometers per hour. That's not easy to keep the car in good shape after such a slide. Usually the walls are pretty unforgiving here.
My apologies, that was Melon on that most recent one. It was Sjoblom on the first one. 4-car gaggle here for 5th on back. That's Huovinen, Litterio, Braxitor is also involved, and Ivanov. Braxitor, Litterio, contact sideways. Litterio up into the wall. Turn 2. Will we have a caution? We stay green right now. Yellow's called. So our first caution comes out. 10 laps in.
So first 10 laps of the race. Here we see Lettiello crawling back into the pit lane, the number 1 car. Also in pits we see the 93 of Polinch.
Yep. So Litterio, mostly cosmetic damage, but those 2 cars pitting before.
So safety car on the racetrack. First lap stayed green, which is quite good in an oval race. I mean, the first laps are always pretty chaotic. And now let's look if Polinch beats... No, he doesn't beat the safety car. So he will be 1 lap down early, and because he was involved in this accident, he won't get a lap back. But he accelerates out.
Around. Now it looks like he's slowed down. He'll wait.
Meanwhile, Martin Capel was in pit lane.
Yeah, we got some problems here on turn 2. Some cars spun in turn 2. Not sure what the deal is there. patrol, just sorting out a couple issues here. And we
Oh, and contact
Yep.
there. Huvinen was driving fast on the inside.
Yeah, he was told to be at a car 93. He just didn't know where car 93 is.
Okay, there's a little feature in Little Spade on the down right corner, which could be used for orientation, but well.
Well, to be fair, he was in the middle
Oh,
of
okay.
in a
Yeah, and
straggled car.
Pulinch and the 93 is a lap down, so okay, I take back my criticism.
Well, that and everyone was all jumbled up from some of those incidents too. So we know that the system can sometimes take a while to sort things out after a big close bit of action. No matter what.
Yeah, you're right. Pulinch and Ladriello at the very end of the pack. They are actually pretty in a pretty bad position due to the NASCAR rules they use here, due to the double fire restarts. A few years back it was that all lapped cars could start from the inside lane, so had greater chances to unlap themselves. Now they are at the very tail of the pack.
Again, no free pass. This caution. No one was lapped at the time of caution. The laps came after the caution was called. 2 cars lapped down. That is Pugini and Letterio. Double file restart, as in NASCAR. Blauhoff will lead them down. They'll have Dabrowski just behind him. Green flag back out. Blauhoff gets a huge jump on that restart. Krampus, I don't know if he was just not asleep or something, but Ivanov and Dabrowski all spine, but this could harm Blauhoff. If these three behind him can hook up properly, they can draft around Blauhoff and leave him in dust if Blauhoff can't fall in line very quickly.
My eyes fall to the very back of the pack. There's a huge pack of cars. And 4 wide, partly. And contact there was with Stephen Martin in the middle of something.
Yep. I got about 6 cars here all together. Puzini's left down. Zatiev, Evenen, Angelov, and Martin Letrillo up just ahead of this, so they're
And there's
away.
a car! Sideways moment.
Zlatev, I think that was.
Yeah, he was pushed there. They tried to do bump drafting here, which is allowed, totally legal, but within a corner with only 20 degrees of banking, this can sometimes cause you spinning.
Up at the lead, Blauhoff has been overtaken by Ivanov and Dabrowski. Krompush was not able to stay up with those other two. I did see Blauhoff and Dabrowski work together a bit in their duel race last weekend. And he's trying to stay in line with this. Got Ivanov from Genuine Racing and Dabrowski up ahead. I don't know if Blauhoff's actually trying to stay to where he can lead, or if he's just staying behind just enough to stay with these two.
Well, I think that he just stays behind to have a bit of, well, relaxing moment, no overtaking. He has to do there. He's quite experienced, meanwhile. He's done a lot of over racing in the past.
Blauhoff, having done past couple Kyoto 250s, attempted to qualify for last year's Kyoto 500. I do not believe we actually saw him in the race. That slips my mind right now.
I remember he had some date issues, that something came across his plans to race the 500. But yeah, he raced the last couple of 250s, and when he first signed up to 250, it was a pretty surprising move. No one would have thought that he did some over racing.
He, to what I remember, did pretty well. He was up in the lead pack at the end of the 2010 running, the third annual. He got into it a bit. Actually, I think both years he was up there near the finish, but got into it and was unable to challenge the three-time winner of the Kyoto 250, Phil Diaz. They had challenged till a couple laps ago. Everyone else got a little too racy. But yeah, Blauhoff having done fairly well in his, I'd say, fairly limited oval experience.
Yeah, that's true. It was incredible that in his first major over race he could drive up in the front. We knew that he's a fast road course racer, but compared to those drivers in the Kyoto 250 who are partly oval aliens, we didn't thought he would be that well, end up that well, but he proved us wrong, and was great to see him up there.
Well, and of course, we know what the oval's all about. It's not really about being fast, it's about being consistent and fast. You can't just be fast. You know, we've seen plenty of people. Let's name Kenneth O'Keefe, for instance. You know, we know Ken. He's a good racer. He's fast. He doesn't. He's some. You know, we've known in the past. I'm just using an example. You know, everyone realistically knows about O'Keefe. We know him as a fast racer. The consistency is something. He was like, we got cars around. Angelov is off around, and a caution is out. That's a massive crash. Two cars off. Stefanov, Letterio has disconnected. Stefanov tries to do a J-turn. He ends up backing himself into the wall.
And Stefanov also does a U-turn and straight again.
Johansson, huge damage to his right front damper and control arms. And that's making it incredibly difficult for him to control that car, make turns with it.
So let's try to look into a replay of what happened there.
So we'll see, look, it's a replay setup here. Ivanov leads, Dabrowski second, Blahoff around third, Kronpush fourth. So that's about the standard top four that we've had all race so far.
Catching the good part of the replay is always the problem, especially in over racing. The races get so long and the area you have to hit is so tiny. I guess we're now on the replay, on the right one. We see Lettieriello and Johnson comes up to him. We froze that scene. He came up to him, and because they two crashed with a little lag involved, Johnson was going down the hill and caught Pulinch, and after that also the car of Angelov. And Angelov caught then the car of Stefanov. So pretty unfortunate. Most of the drivers, Pulinch, Stefanov, and Angelov involved here with nothing they could do about that. Taking another view now. So half the speed we see. Oh no, Lettieriello actually comes down to Johnson. Sometimes this is not easy to detect. And Huovinen gets into the back of Lettieriello. Lettieriello nearly saves it, but then got spun around and hit the whole outside retaining wall, and that in the end brought out the caution. He then disconnected from the server.
Some pit stops under discussion while you check the replay. Angelov and Johansson in the pits, both with major damage. Repair both to left front, right rear. Angelov also left rear. And some tire changes. Both pit stops taking about 45 seconds. In the official realistic NASCAR TeamSpeak, Laszlo's retirement message. He picked the wrong setup, so that's what made him decide to retire. Car 93, Eugeni's free pass car. Ivanov take the inside for the restart. Dabrowski to the outside. Blahoff third. Kronpush will restart fourth. Fifth is Concordi. Holmberg sixth. Seventh is Donalik. Eighth, Mellon. Ninth, Soblom. 10th, Capel. 69 is Huovinen. Back around the 10th position. There's your top 10. Dabrowski's highest position in the race so far, man, in second. Or his highest in first, lowest down to 20 in 7th. Ivanov has come up to the front all the way from 22nd, where he started last in the race. Getting ready to restart here. Coming to complete the 28th lap of racing here. Restarting lap number 29. Green flag back in the air. again, the leader gets a huge jump. But again, that is not what you want if you've been watching any of Daytona this last week. You don't want to get that big jump because once those guys come up to you in the draft, you're left for dead. So we got 4 cars here trying to catch Holmberg. I don't think able to stay with him. He had to wreck. No, I think he'll try and get up with Crom Push here. Dabrowski and Blauhoff trying to catch down Ivanov. So fairly clean first lap after the restart.
We've got a lagging car.
That's Jovinen.
And anti-timed out. And now the leader Ivanov got caught there by Blov and Dabrowski. And they are now trying to set up a 3-car draft, as explained last week by Jonathan Palmer. There's one car to stay in the middle, and the other cars are swapping positions around him. But as I say so, the 88 decides to go to the most inner lane, and now we're back in a conventional draft. Through turn 2 they are doing the 3 wide draft, but through the other turns they stay the way they they stay with the leaders in swapping positions around. We've got Stefanov and Angelov in pit lane. Don't know what happened there, what caused them to enter the pit lane. A bit further back, Polinch, Conradi and Braxator battle around position 8, 9 and 10. With some contact and cars flying off the track. But they are to the... Whoa! That's a brown pants moment for those cars coming around. That was dangerous. That really was dangerous. Johns nearly escaped the big one, and so did Capel and Zlatev. Miraculously, they got around, and now Polinch gets into the pit lane after this big accident. We stay green. Oh dear, sometimes stuff is happening. But the leaders are pretty unaffected by that. We've got a 3-car group up in front, followed by two 2-car groups. So Ivanov in front of Blauhoff, Dabrowski, Holmberg, Kronpusch, Donalek and Melin, Braxator and Sjöblom. and Zlatev that are the top 10. 70 cars are still racing here. One retirement due to a wrong setup, two retirements due to crashes, and one retirement due to a crash, and the third retirement of the day due to a timeout. Jumping into the car of Blau for a bit. If you're watching this on high quality, can at least imagine what the speedometer odometer shows you. No, the speedometer shows you there on your right side of the screen. So except for turn 3, we're always traveling over 275 kilometers per hour. And I guess you can imagine how dangerous the scene we've seen before was, because at that speed you are seeing spinning cars in front of you very late, and well, it could even easily ended in a big one, but luckily we're not that. It didn't came to that. Anyways, Dabrowski, Ivanov and Blohov's slipstreaming didn't work that well. So we've got a 5-car group up in front. Including the bright poison green car of Ronnie Kronbusch, who sets the fastest lap, 33.9 something. I didn't catch the last digit.
R85 has been found to have R4 rear tires. That's a no-no. Gotta be R3 all the way around, no exceptions. So he's been ordered in the pit lane to mend that issue. He enters pit about now.
With R3s all around, it is also an issue in those cars with the tire wear. Though in the oval it's pretty much and Angelov retires the race from pit garage. So he decided not to change the tires and now go home or watch the stream, and we lost connection now to him, so Even if he wouldn't ended his race, he would have timed out, lost connection rather. So the group of 5 now reduced to 2 groups of 2. Don't know what happened there, we were just watching the other car. So up in front, Ivanov and Blov, Dabrowski and Kron pushed behind. Denalik fell back to the independent racing mates of Homburg and Millen. That was rather strange. Anyways, so far the technique works. So looking through the field, which is pretty well stretched out. Here for 10th position we've got Sladev and Kapel. And while they enter turn 3, the leaders are crossing the start-finish line. Big difference there already. It's going to be interesting to see how the gap between Ivanov and Blauhoff develops over the next few laps. Dabrowski and Kronpusch behind them, they don't seem to be able to at least go consistently the speed of the cars in front. But tire wear in these cars and also a bit of fuel strategies can be played, if I'm not totally wrong. And if I'm totally wrong...
No, plenty of fuel and tire strategies can be played. I don't think these tires can last the whole lap, even if you get the whole race, even if you get a couple extra cautions to help you. And if this race keeps going green like this, fuel will become an issue. I'm not sure what everyone's kind of getting for fuel wear rates. I could probably look it up if I wanted to. I can look that up here in a minute, but
that was dangerous moment here for the number 17 car. He bumped Blauhoff in front and then got a sideways moment there, but he kept the car straight. So even those drivers up in front are racing here on the edge of a razor. And they are now coming closer to the blue car up in front. That is the lap car, so lapping starts in a bit. It won't be too difficult yet, because the cars in front are all in single file, but once they hit a battling group of two cars, and battling a drafting group of two cars, this could become really interesting. But so far, the group, the next two-car drafting group is half a lap ahead of them. And a good move by Johnson there, using the pit lane and apron to let the leaders past. And he will use that also to do his pit stop. So obviously repairing damage.
Back to what I was mentioning on fuel, I just did some investigatory work. Blauhoff and Ivanov are getting about 0.9% of fuel usage per lap. Dabrowski gets about 91/100ths per lap, and Kronpush gets the best out of all of them so far, based on what LFS World indicates, at 88/107% per lap. Of course, you save more fuel when you're in the draft, use more when you're alone, save much more under caution. So this is when all of these things come into effect.
Steve Martin lets the two leaders pass. If I understand this correctly, Blauhoff and Kronpush can of course do a one-stop, at least fuel-wise. And Blauhoff and Ivanov, that could work out. Well, it should work out, rather to say, to do just one fuel stop.
Hey, you should get, if you're by yourself, you should get about 90 to 100 laps. If you're just by yourself, getting your bare minimum fuel mileage. But again, that drafting, that'll add a few laps. You don't need to use as much fuel when you're in the draft. It's less air resistance, less work the engine has to do, less throttle you have to use. Cautions help. We've had, 10 laps or so of cautions already? That'll help. That'll give an extra 5 laps or so.
Now we see that we don't see them. I just thought they were close enough to get around Steve Martin now. Dabrowski getting the blue flag. Why does Dabrowski get the...
No, he was using bind viz for the upcoming lap car that they're about to overtake.
Ah, okay. And so now they are away from Steve Martin. above, and even at the line they were even. At least TV Director doesn't show any gap there. So I hear that in one of the motorhomes there's steak presented for drivers and workers.
Steak's always a good option for everybody.
Steak's always
True.
good. Definitely, I agree with that. That's Chris 40 Henry. He's kind of working our pit lane report. He's found not much to do down the pit lane, so he's kind of had a saunter up here to the comms box. A little more air conditioning up here.
Yeah, I was thinking this was a concept that when I was new to commentary, I sort of wanted to do with Michael Passingham and Chris Wilson, I think it was at the time, possibly Thilo. I think, yeah, Thilo must have been there as well, because I think it was the year of the potato. And for anybody who doesn't know what the year of the potato is, search on YouTube, Thilo Falkenberg potato, and get a very massive surprise. How's the drafting been like a potato today, Thilo?
I've not seen that bad of a drafting yet. Just very interesting strategies how to interpret a 3-car draft, but not potato drafting yet. No.
Did you have a big spud with your steak there, Chris?
Yes, I did. Yes, I had a few spuds. Yes,
Very
they were
delicious.
delicious, but they didn't draft very well. You know, I was trying to get them to go because I had a circle plate, which is a bit like an oval, so I was trying to get them to sort of draft around each other, but it didn't really work. I was quite disappointed. They just sort of stayed rooted to the plate, which was, you know, personally speaking, disappointing. Yes, back to away from potatoes. What I wanted to do in that Kyoto 500, because I was news commentary at the time, was sort of a pit lane reporter style thing, because I could see things that Michael Passingham and Thilo were missing at the time, but
I think Wilco was actually active comms in that one too.
Wilco as well. Okay, so it was the three of you.
Oh no, that was
it was before Wilco
the
came to
potato
commentary.
incident was 2009.
Yeah.
And Wilco hadn't really gotten into commentary then.
And we had the brilliant argument with Fragmasters post race.
Oh,
That's 2009. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2009.
The second Kyoto 500 it was.
It would work quite well, but what normally happened was Mr. Passingham would steal my lines that I had noticed, because I would put them up to sort of inform the commentary box what I was going to say, so I rarely got your time, which was quite annoying for me.
I remember that it was both you and Jorgen Kursk, Fuse 5,
yes,
working with that.
Yes, and Mr. Passingham would steal our lines and got commentator of the year off of a few of them, so yes.
By the way, did Passo actually eat his hat from the first Kyoto 500?
I believe not, because he's still alive.
Sorry, what was the question? I was listening to something from the admins just there.
Well, there was some bet in the first Kyoto 500 where I don't know who he was commentating along.
If it wasn't one of those two Fragmaster drivers, it was FM Failure, Oliver Peterman, and it was, well, I can't remember his name now. It was I think he went by Benny in the nickname sort of realm.
Yes, he was the Danish guy, wasn't he?
I think I think possibly. They were walking away with the race. Passo said, excuse me. Passo said, if one of these two guys did win, he would eat his hat. Well, a little before that, the final caution of the race came out. They hadn't pitted yet. They needed to pit. There was not a required pit stop, but the race is 270 laps. Fuel, tires really weren't going to make it unless 90% of the race was under caution. They didn't pit during that last caution, so before they made their pit stop, Passo said that if one of these two guys didn't win their race, he would eat his hat. Well, they make their pit stop. They violated a rule that was in effect at the time where you couldn't cross over multiple pit boxes. It was kind of an anti-shortcutting the pit lane measure. Basically so you weren't, especially this, the Kyoto pit lane's wide. It's got that kink in the middle of it. If you cross over half of the pit boxes, you shave off a couple seconds off your pit lane travel time. They crossed those. They got a drive-through issued for it. That was the penalty at the time. The penalty came as they were heading towards turn 3. They were, I guess, the one guy, and it was Peterman, was kind of shocked at the drive-through penalty, I think is what he said afterwards. And he kind of ended up going up into Benny. Yeah, it was Benny, into the wall. Speaking of drive-throughs, we got a drive-through here. Speeding in pit lane for Shablom in our race, get a 400 right here. But yeah, they both went into the wall in turn 3. They immediately spec. But this was very shortly after.
Sorry, I've just noticed something that we have not noticed. I suppose I can let you continue.
No,
actually, Thilo, camera to car 45, because that car has had a massive crash somewhere. And you'll miss it now if Thilo hasn't. He's not repairing damage.
Yeah.
He's not. Oh, he's missed pit box. That's why.
He missed pit box.
So he's had a massive crash somewhere, and his whole right side suspension is destroyed. He's not repaired damage. Oh dear.
Well, we've seen an STD Cup championship on Thursday, something similar, but back then it was that someone put repair damage on and therefore had an awful long time in pit box while no pit work was required in the mandatory part.
I don't understand people don't. Holmberg defending the inside line as well. Sorry, Jonathan, you were reminiscing about the 2009 500 with FM decided
it took almost 18 months, I think, for Passo to pay up to his eating hat because we kept hassling him. He said that it was he was saying no, that's just saying. I was like, no, this is hilarious. We want you to do it just for the laughs of it.
Holmberg in pits.
The moral of that story was Passo.
Malin?
That started the LFS commentator's curse.
Yes, the LFS commentator's curse that I'm going to vanish in the next year. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who want me to vanish in the next year, so I may as well keep them happy.
No,
we like you. I'll probably be retiring after Super GT's finished. Completely from anything to do with the speed, so the curse will continue until one year.
The curse
Deco, you will
already
win.
last
Deco
week.
will win Commentator of the Year, and
Not
he'll
at
probably
all.
break it. Don't do any broadcasts anymore, man.
But by the way, commentator's curse last week in the duels, I said the only thing that the races up in front could that their lead, that their win.
Slow car in turn 3. Shablom is slow. He's got his blinkers on. He had a drive-through. I don't think he got service that first time in pit lane.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Yes.
No, as I said, he didn't repair damage, which is about what I think he changed his tires, but he didn't repair damage. So yeah, he's crawling about without damage. Also interesting, notice that both IRM XRRs, the pink colours that you see going out there, have got drive-through penalties for speeding in the pit lane. So I can only assume that their first gear is a bit wrong. I also saw Holmberg over-revving the car slightly as well, so that'll be a bit of a problem for him. I could assume, guys, that, well, I know this for a fact, that this sort of oval business is going to be pretty hard on the engines, because if you slow down just a tiny bit too much and over-rev slightly in the pit lane, you're going to be in trouble. And why? Okay, so yeah, I think that, and then that'll affect you for the rest of the race. So you really want to be as careful as you possibly can on the downshift for the pit lane. I would really hate to have to race most of the race with an engine damaged car on an oval.
Didn't you have that once, I think? Or was that just a bad set?
No, I don't think I did. I think I thought at one point 400 I had engine damage, but it ended up basically that I had more fuel than everybody else. Let's not forget both oval races this year. I could have won all three major oval races that NDR ran last year. I could have won. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit of an
The
king.
400 that Chris was referring to, by the way, is the Speedweeks 400. That's standard part of the Elephas Kart schedule with the FO8 part of the Elephas Kart Standard 3 oval races. But I think we're going to cut one of those out. Well, for this coming season, there's only 2 oval races in a 10-race schedule.
Sorry, I forgot it's called the 400 as well, with the XRRs, not the FO8s. It's the 500. I would have won that race had the server not failed. Quite comfortably, probably, because I was the only one who didn't have to pit again.
I think some of the Tiger Express group were in the same sort of boat with you.
No, they hadn't pitted, that's why they were ahead at the time. Whereas I'd been managing my lovely fuel load and was pretty perfect, and then got wrecked by Joe Holmes. Hello Joe, if you're out there watching. Wrecker. Yes, anyway, they didn't have to pit, that's why they were ahead at the time. So no, they hadn't pitted, yes. More confused there. You confused me now, but no, they definitely hadn't pitted, and that's why they were at the front when the red flag came out. Quite lucky for them. They were, if that had just been a standard safety car, I think they would have been quite far back in the race, because they again didn't pit and were risking a safety car later on in the race.
Yeah. This, both of you, Theo and Chris, have raced in some of the major LFS oval events, and so you kind of know how the flow goes. You know how the flow of just racing generally goes. I'm just the Ofer that sits in the comms box or in race control, telling you how to race, even though I don't really race that much. But it's, Chris especially, you've done a lot of road course and oval racing, and this oval racing, even though this will probably take 2.5 hours, that's a standard amount of time you may do it once in IGTC or MOE.
Oval racing for me is a complete pain in the backside normally, because, well, literally it gives you a pain in the backside because you're sitting down for so long at one point. You don't really, in an endurance race with the GTRs, you don't really sort of do as long stints as you do in an oval race. Certainly the 500 this year was getting towards the stage of I cannot do this anymore by the time I retired, because it was getting pretty close to the point of this is ridiculous, I can barely feel my legs anymore, sort of thing. So it takes quite a lot of, it's quite a big challenge actually, mentally, more than sort of on track actually, I would say. I think oval racing and Live for Speed is far more challenging in that sense than sort of the driving, because the driving is relatively simple. The 250 potentially is the only one that isn't, sort of go down as far to the white line as you can and stay there, because there's a bit of thought goes into the final corner because it's faster to run a bit higher there. But certainly the 500 this year was a bit of a pain in the backside, literally. So yes.
Well, and the XRT, which we use for the Kyoto 250, does take a little more handling type things to do, especially if you've roasted your tires in turn 3, which is actually quite a tricky turn with some cars.
But the XRT certainly.
I remember me racing there in the first Kyoto 258. You could drive the regular line you see here, but if you do that 2 or 3 laps, the outside tires are so hot that they doesn't give you the safety through that turn, and the higher lane is a bit less aggressive. And also the way you carry out momentum out of that turn is a bit better in pack racing, at least in the XRT. I would also say that the XRT is even more challenging to drive than the high downforce cars like we see here, because it takes more handling, and the slingshot is not that's important there. It's partly more the pack racing, or from NASCAR, than the slingshot drafting.
Oh, and by the way, just looking at the results from last year's Kyoto 500, Chris, yes, it was quite long. 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 46 seconds. Of course, that is including the time of the delay for the red flag for the 4 people disconnected. Yeah, so, well, the reason for that red flag, 4 racers disconnected at the same time, and the administration kind of regarded that as a server issue, and Braxator has timed out. So Braxator, one of our racers here, has timed out. Not sure, I don't remember what position he was in, somewhere in the mid-pack, if I'm not very much mistaken.
Yeah, he was at the rear of lead lap cars.
But back to what I was saying about the connection issue. You know, if 3, 4, 5 drivers time out at once from a server, most series administration will give the benefit of the doubt that that was a server issue, and will usually take the option to stop the race, suspend the race for a server failure, which you roll back the order a couple laps to the lap or two before the server issue that timed them out, and then go from there. Which I don't know, but speaking of server issues, for those who may have been watching last weekend's Super GT race from West Hill, no one timed out of any racer that was on track, so there were no timeouts affecting the outcome of the race.
Interesting to note that of our 2 race leaders, Ivanov's front right tyre is very thin at the moment and very, very cold, so I wouldn't really be expecting him to go too much longer in this race. Another thing I picked up on while watching these 2 is the different styles of trying to maintain the draft. Blauhoff is happier to lift off and lose a little bit of turbo pressure, whereas Ivanov likes to trail brake on the straight sort of thing. It's the best way of describing it. He keeps the foot flat out and brakes slightly on the straight to let Blauhoff back in front. Very interesting to note those 2 different styles, Ivanov preferring to have the turbo spooled up to full pressure, whereas Blauhoff is happier to get the blast at the end of the straight. Yeah, I wouldn't be expecting Ivanov to be staying out for much longer. Blauhoff might well be... I'd expect him to come in reasonably similar time. His tyre is in good condition just now, but he would probably start to lose time because he'd lose his drafting partner, and he will not want that really. He'd want to be as close to Ivanov as he possibly can.
Now, of course, they're all on the same TeamSpeak channel. The IRM people, I think, are off in their own little sub-channel, but everyone else is in the same channel, so if they really wanted to, they could try and coordinate that. I don't know if that's something they have already thought about or anything. They have thought about just some Millen timed out. So one of the IRM drivers, it seems like every single time this race that I have mentioned the IRM people, something has happened to them to bring them. I think this is the kind of curse of the commentator here.
Curse of Deco, basically. Oh, actually I noticed Blauhoff has started to do the brake thing as well, rather than lift off. I think he lifts off more out of turn 3 and brakes out of turn 1, which is quite interesting. I hadn't picked up on that before, but that's interesting. Possibly that's why Ivanov's front right tyre is wearing more as well, the little bit of braking that he does on the straights. Coming up to lap Johansson.
I'm not going to get a little bit bumped to help Blauhoff around.
Yep, sensible to do it there. And away they go, and they've broken the draft already over the back marker. Clearly want to remain a 2, not a 3.
Yeah, lap car can really mess up the dynamic of your 2-car draft, I'm sure. What was it last year's 500? I think, didn't you and safety car Steve Martin work together well, or was it someone else?
It was Kronpass, I think. We worked quite well together as a drafting partner. Actually, he's in 3rd position now. I quite enjoyed. I think it was him I quite enjoyed working with. We made quite a lot of progress. Also, at various points, I think I did draft with Steve at one point. The only person I didn't enjoy drafting with was my teammate at the time, Dominic Engel, who decided to turn into me because I told him to go left, so he went right and took us both out at the time. Tom, go left, turns right.
But on the other hand, the lap cars can also help you. I remember I'm guess it was 2 years ago. I was commentating with Passel back then, the 250, and actually Kenneth O'Keefe, the famous one who we were talking about, he used his own teammates to gain positions after the restart. So the one teammate was up in front, lap car blocking the rest of the pack, and the second one was 2 or 3 positions behind, also on the inside line, and he pushed him up a few positions, and it was like back then, like every restart, Kenneth O'Keefe was down in 10th position or so, and after 1-2 laps he was up in first position, or at least in the top group.
Another lap car helping in since the 2010 Kyoto 500. Tim Vachoni, rookie, was running up front. He lost. He hadn't. This is coming back to the commentator curse. 2008 Passo had his moment. 2010 Thilo had his moment. 45 laps to go. Aaron Shearer and Tim Vachoni both leading the race, walking away with it. Thilo mentioned something about, it was something on the order of, these two will be racing to the flag if nothing happens, and as soon as he finishes that statement, they're going through the kink here at the oval, they touch, they're both wham into the wall, heavy damage for Shearer. Vachoni keeps going, but he's got some damage, he has to admit he drops back. Shearer's now lapped down, so they lose their 2 tandem for the win. But they hook up for the restart, and Shearer works with Vachoni because they're working well all race together. He uses himself and the fact that they were working well to get back to the front, and that led to that. It was a good finish with Nolan Scott, Phil Diaz, Vachoni. Nolan Scott winning that race, of course, 2010. Vachoni ending up upside down in turn 2. It wasn't really his fault or anyone's fault, it was just a rookie mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was his fault personally because he went for the inside line, which was already blocked. Sort of realised too late that there was no room for him to go there, and sort of failed and crashed.
Yeah, it was kind of an J.R. Hildebrand fault there. And if you bring a context to real life racing, I mean,
J.R. Hildebrand.
Yeah,
that was such a sad moment. I'm going to win the 500 as a rookie. Oh no! I've got a back marker in front of me. I'm in the wall. Sorry, every broadcast I've got to do an American accent, especially in oval.
So
the
strong
admins
runs.
been keeping an eye on number 17 that you mentioned, Chris. They've been thinking he was going to blow a tire a few laps ago. I think that's well premature.
I think the tire's okay. Just I don't know how long he wants to go on that, because the colder it gets as well. It just doesn't look that good at the moment. I suppose on oval it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but it'll be interesting to watch. Certainly compared to Blauhof's tires, a lot colder and a lot thinner.
Yeah, and that's one thing that'll be interesting if he comes to the pits before his tire blows. If it's too thin when he comes in, he slams on the brakes for the pit lane line. This happened to Low Racing in the, 09, 24 hours, got him a speeding penalty on their last pit stop of the race. So that's something that they had to keep in mind for their pit stop.
Also, I remember, again, Flag Masters in the Kyoto 250, they were again trying to do a no-stopper. The Kyoto 500. They were again trying to do a no-stopper, and then within the lap of both front-runner cars, the tires blew. So you really have to look after your tires, otherwise, a tire blown in turn 3 slams you into the wall.
Yeah, turn 3 is about where will be the highest load on the tire. It's the tightest radius turn on the course.
And the turn with the less banking.
Yes, least amount of banking. Chris, why don't you go, for anyone who may not be familiar with how the tire wear and tire temperatures and everything works. I want you to go into a little bit of a brief kind of discussion for us, for the benefit of those who may not be familiar with it, how tire wear works and all kind of how the different compounds differ. Chris was got more steak.
Well, the motorhome steak seems to be very tasty.
Yeah, well, no, he didn't even go to motorhome. He just went to the hospitality here in the back hallway in our press tower here.
Oh yes, right. Damn, I should have told him to get me one. So, a quick rundown, I guess, after all the talking about stuff that we already have seen in Oval Racing. Blov in front of Ivanov, Kronpush, Dabrowski and Dunalik, that's the top 5. Then Capel, Slatev, Steve Martin, Pulinj, Holmberg and Stefanov, that's the one we are just looking at. Johnson in 12th, already lapped, we saw that lapping move. Conradi and Sjöblom behind him. 14 cars are still racing.
And 1 laps now in the books. Closing in on the halfway mark here, only about 7 laps away from. Oh, do we have Chris with us yet?
Hello.
Okay. You did that thing again where I tried to ask you for some insightful thing so I don't have to talk for a few minutes and you...
I'm sorry,
seem to have gone
bathroom
away.
break.
Yeah, that's fine. No, what I was kind of asking, was just following our discussion about the tires. For those who may be new to LPS or not know kind of really how the tire wear sort of thing and temperature effects, all that works, have a little brief sort of explanation for it and all, restricted R3s, but how R2 and R4 compounds differ for, let's relate to this car.
To an XR on oval, well, that's an interesting question. I think, essentially, the tyres wear, as you'd expect. But on a live for speed you also have the core temperature, which goes through a heat cycle and comes back down. And then, usually depend on the heat cycle. If you have a good heat cycle or a decent temperature in the heat cycle, you normally get a decent temperature at the end of your stint, and that's quite important because the tyre becomes thin and you lose a lot of your tread, which keeps the heat in the tyre. So when it becomes thin, you really want as much heat as you can to try and keep the core temperature in the tyre and maintain grip. When the tyre starts to go blue on your F9 bar, you know you're in trouble, and that's certainly becoming the case for a few people out there today.
In a standard road race, you usually get what, about an hour or so out of these tires.
Yeah.
Or some people get lucky and stretch it maybe an hour 10, hour 15 if they're really good with them, or the track is conducive to it.
I think an oval is a bit different. I think you can carry on going for as long as you possibly can until tyres go. It's not as though they're going to get so cold that you can't turn on an oval. Certainly looking at Ivanov's tyres again. They are still gripping reasonably well. You shouldn't have any issues just now. It's just a matter of will it go at this point where the tyre is completely blue. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Ivanov, I think, just flashed his blinkers at Blauhoff, and I think intentionally let Blauhoff around there. Not sure what that is. Ivanov's got his blinkers on. Don't know if that has anything to do with the his tires or anything.
What? Oh!
Oh, Ivanov's gone up!
Blue! Is it blue?
No,
Yeah, it's
it didn't
gone,
blow.
gone,
Oh, there
gone.
it goes.
Yeah, well, I had a funny feeling something like that was going to happen eventually. And, yeah, so 111 laps. That's a blow for him.
That was funny though. I didn't see it actually as popped until after he had gone up into the wall. It acted as if it had blown, and then it just went.
He's lucky not to have got more damage to his suspension than he has just now. Just making it into pit lane. Speed limit before line. Handbrake won't really help you there, Grassy.
Now,
that's a pretty good blow-off, but blow-off you'd think will come in soon. Not really because of his tyres, more because he doesn't really need the risk of people behind him getting the draft. Well, he doesn't. Considerably slower. That's took his first lap out draft. 38.09 is his best, and oh my goodness gracious me, it's a 38.9, so he's losing potentially a second a lap. And Kronpus has a back marker to battle with, and he's already taken 7/10 of a second out of him on the first lap. If I was Blauhoff, I'm thinking about maybe pitting.
well, Kronbusch hasn't pitted yet. If they can pit together, they can work together. I saw Kronbusch and Blauhoff working fairly well together in the duel and fairly earlier at the beginning of the outset of this race. So, will maybe Blauhoff try and take that into consideration?
Potentially, we'll just wait and see on that. I'm not entirely sure Blauhoff will want it to be a 3-car thing, though. Wait, hang on. No, he hasn't. Okay, I thought Blauhoff had lost the back marker he was bumping with a second ago.
And Blow-Off comes in.
So we've got a new leader on the track. It's Kronbusch. Blauhoff, nice easy pit entry.
Kronbusch, who won his duel race, if I remember correctly. Well, no, I don't have to remember correctly, I know it! Oh, and there goes the next car with a blown tire. That's the 93 of Pulinj, and he was lucky. The tire blew in turn 3, and he just got down into the pit lane before the commitment line.
Yep, administration just confirmed it was an emergency maneuver to pit the road, they call it, so they'll not give him a penalty for an improper pit lane entry.
And now we do have the green car entering the pit lane, Kronbusch. He just doing the right thing here, even if he was able to go a few more laps with his set of tires. And we've got the next new leader, that's Dabrowski. But he's all by himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see where Kronbusch comes out in relation to Blauhoff.
Kronbusch has lost his draft partner because his draft partner's gone quicker out of the pits.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna wait though. He's going slow. I think he may
he's
be waiting.
No, he's not. He's waiting. There's no waiting there. I think he is not quite going to remain ahead of Blauhoff. It's going to be close. I think Kronbusch and Blauhoff could be a drafting partner after this. Here they come. Maybe not quite. Just wait and see. Kronbusch might have taken the overall lead here.
Oh,
think
and
he
cars
has, yes
have
he
to
has.
go around him.
Of course, he's come out into this gaggle of cars.
Yeah, it sort of worked out well for him there. Well,
This course could
if
pull
you're
him.
able to maintain his standard of drafting that he's shown throughout this race, but... So yes, that's Blauhoff to the lead. Sorry, Krampus to the lead, sorry,
Well-
ahead of Blauhoff and Ivanov.
The effective lead,
Defensively,
yes.
yes. And Steve Martin's right in there as well now, but he has damage, I think?
He's off pit cycle too, so.
Yeah. I think everybody will... no, probably not. Thinking initially that he has to make one more stop, but I think it should be good for him now.
Well, it could depend on how cautions will play a role. I mean, we had in the first half of the race 10 laps of caution. That might be the key factor here. It's going to be narrow. And let's see how Kronpush and Conradi work together.
Dabrowski into the pits, so here in about 30 seconds. Krampus should be a little further into the lead. 100 laps to go. Kapal, the leader on the track as it stands right now. Krampus should be overtaking Kapal once Kapal hits the pits here, probably about 20-30 laps, I presume.
And Capel, interestingly, is working together with the number 17 of Ivanov, who... Whoa! And there goes the tyre of Capel! Again in turn 3. And he also dives into the pit lane. But this could mean that he had... Oh, drives through penalty.
Of speeding.
I just wanted to say that if he hadn't got that drive-through penalty, he might stay ahead of Ivanov on the track. But this, well, of course, erases those thoughts. Kronpush now around Johnson, and well, I don't think that he's got a good partner there to draft with in this group.
Kapal getting some damage in that incident. It did not fix on the pit stop. Don't know if he had time to set it for mending.
And now Blow nearly caught the group ahead of him. May be able to use one of the cars in front of him to get up again. Capel served his penalty meanwhile. Oh, the penalty was cleared because he had to do a pit stop. Oh,
Krampus!
That was close for Krampus.
That was very close for Krampus. He got very, 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 very loose in the middle of turn 3.
Well, all of a sudden you have a car filled with fuel, a lot heavier, and you were out of rhythm for 2 or 3 laps. Moreover, he hadn't really a partner yet to team up with to get into the rhythm again. So now it looks like that the 93 car could be a helper. Love is all by himself. Doesn't look good for him currently. The next car behind him is far more away than the leader in front of him.
Well, of course, as you said, Stilo, with the focusing, it's race is getting kind of long here, and we see it in the 250 and 500 all the time, and some of the other longer races, like Master Endurance and everything. You can sometimes lose your focus a bit, and that leads to some silly mistakes.
This time of the race is pretty critical because as a racer you pass the halfway mark, then you look up at how many laps you still have to go, and then you go, oh dear, I can't do this, it's so freaking long still. That's what Chris described earlier as well. Krampus got stuck there behind the independent racing mate car on the outside. Now he goes to the inside and are they true? Okay, they try to set up a 3-car draft some way. But the execution of this 3-car draft reminds me of some video online with me in the role there. Now Steve Martin is in pit lane. So he falls back to the position he belongs to. At least he's out of this leading group there with everyone who's done their obligatory pit stop, not by rules but by the fact that they need tires and fuel. Okay, Ronnie changed tactics and they now try to bump draft away from the independent racing car.
P5 still on the lead lap. That was Krumpers, Blauhoff, Dabrowski, Ivanov, and Donilik. The 5 cars that we have on the lead lap, all spread out fairly evenly, and all 5 of them. Well, Dabrowski. Wait, Dabrowski, look at his tires.
Yep, they're gonna go next. No question whatsoever there. Possibly the next few laps.
But he last stopped on lap 120 in LFS, so he last stopped only 13 laps ago.
Must have not changed tires.
That's all this is a service was, refuel.
Well, at least we can say who was the best driver towards the tires. The nicest and friendliest guy here.
The only thing that can really help him is if he gets a safety car that he is not. Which, with the way everyone's spread out, isn't looking too terribly likely.
So of course a safety car can happen in the last 50 laps or so, when someone just loses his concentration during the draft, during the slingshot. And when there are 2 cars spinning around on the track and some fast guys are coming up, then a caution has to be called.
Again, if he can catch a caution before his tire goes, he should stay on the lead lap. But if he is the caution, that's not really the way you want it to be.
Pretty strong run so far, green flag wise. I mean, we only had 2 cautions so far.
Yep, good running so far. Makes it a little bit long in the tooth for those who may happen to be lonely. As I'm sure Chris knows that being lonely on a track in a long green flag run in an oval race.
Yep, it is quite boring.
I actually do know it myself as well. I mean,
Boring, isn't it?
Yeah, especially
It was so boring you had to spin coming out of pit lane in the inaugural
Right,
500 caused
right.
that last caution of that race.
right, just wanted to tell so. And all of a sudden, Falkenberg was spinning.
Which of course set up the epic hat-eating causing incident.
And all of the Theo Falkenberg.
And in the 250 I was lucky that I did not respect the blue flag on the last lap, otherwise I would have gotten in the way of the top 3 cars.
That didn't matter, Ben wanted putting Phil into the wall anyway, so...
Yeah, okay, true.
On the topic of some interesting racing, next weekend, next Sunday, from Kyoto Grand Touring, the season finale of the inaugural running of the LFS Super GT Series. Got a couple good championship battles on in each class. The GT 500 definitely between Western Wolves and Speedo Racing. And we've seen some good racing in the Super GT Series, Chris. I know you and Thilo have been, you especially have been involved on the commentary of that. There was kind of a cue for some discussion about Super GT.
Super GT. Well, I've been only around the last race. I've been in the first part of the season. I've been doing the City League training races because I commentated those races, and I thought to prepare for them. And yeah, last week, and I did the stream because Phil was not there, and yeah, it had its funny moments because of technical failures and stuff. The racing itself was pretty good. It was not the best Super GT race, I was told by Chris.
No, it wasn't really. At least for on-track action. Oh, Chris! Oh, I guess Chris is gone. AFK, as it were.
Hope he doesn't got a piece of his steak and... Yeah. So the 99 in pit lane, making a pit stop there.
Yep, finished this up, had some damage to repair. Changed more tires, so 45-second halt in the lane. Box, box, box.
Here we see, the try to do teamwork here between Capel and Denalik. Angel Power Racing. Denalik in 5th position, his teammate already 3 laps down in 10th position. Was involved in some incidents earlier. Now we know Dabrowski has to pit in front of them because of his tires. At least he might have to. Ivanov would be alone by then. And Blohov still has no real partner, though now after the pit stop of Johnson, he seems to wait for him.
Last lap, Blah 39.18. Dabrowski and Ivanov 38.86 and 38.74 respectively, so that's about 0.3 of a second. 3 or 4 tenths of a second that Ivanov and Dabrowski are pulling in on Blauhoff.
He's still pretty fast. He's still pretty fast by his own.
But again, will Dabrowski be able to pull Ivanov up to Blauhoff before Dabrowski has to pit for the new rubber? Which will have to happen before the end of the race. There's no way that those tires are going to last until the end of the race. Anything, I think his left front tire may pop just for being too cold. Plus, it has a little bit of uneven wear. The inside's wearing a little more than the outside shoulders.
They are not bump drafting their way, they stopped the slingshot draft.
I'm bum drafting. I don't want to be the lead car if I'm Dabrowski and if I know my tires like that. 'Cause that just puts a little more stress on it.
But you can keep the usual single car line with the tire, otherwise you have, it depends on where you are in the slingshot draft. You have to take that line. Maybe that's their thought how to conserve the tire a bit.
Dabrowski nearly getting spun on the bumping.
There was some lag involved. We are on board with Ivanov and we see the warping which is pretty massive there. So warping are those little legs that pull a car to the left and to the right.
Fuel and tires. Gap down from Blauhoff to Dabrowski is down to 3.6 seconds. Previous time by. This time, they cut in about 2/10. Down to about 3.4. Paging Mr. Ford. Paging Mr. Chris Ford. You have a telephone call at the front desk.
And this actually reminds me of one of the twin qualifications at the Kyoto 250 where Passo was in the commentary box but not commentating.
Speaking of the Kyoto 250, that'll be on March 31st this year. Following weekend, that preceding Sunday. Sign-up should be out hopefully by the end of this weekend, if not Monday at the latest.
I guess this answers some questions of the guys watching.
Gap down to 2 seconds now from second to third and fourth. And they can see Blauhoff.
Yes, they just passed Stefanov. And now they have a pretty clear view to him.
I think Blauhoff knows they're coming, so I think he's running high at least turns 1 and 3, trying to help them catch him a bit. Gap down to 1 second now, and Blauhoff definitely running high to try and help those two of Ivanov and Dabrowski to catch.
Maybe
got 14 seconds ahead to the leader.
Yes, now we see Ivanov taking the inside of Dabrowski, and I could think that Dabrowski, if he's aware of his tire situation, that he comes into the pit lane this time by. Mission accomplished. Your friend is now up with Blauhoff.
Dropped him.
Yeah, he dropped
him. Ivanov's tire is pretty hot, coming into the top of the heat peak.
.6 seconds behind the leader. Dabrowski's dropped. Well, let's see how far he gets with his tires.
Oh, that's awesome. The gap from Blauhoff. Oh, we got a caution! And that's the Holmberg has spun. So all this talk we had about the tires for Dabrowski, all this talk we had about can Ivanov and Blauhoff catch, it's gone out the window. They'll be all together.
Yes. And because of the double file restarts, they are going to be behind each other. Slatev will be on the lead lap because of the free pass.
But just before that caution at the start-finish line, the gap first to second, 13.37 seconds, and the especially nerdy among us will get the reference.
Lead. So anyways, replay time.
So, just gonna get everyone sorted out here. So, this is that caution that'll help give everyone a bit of a break from the monotonous running and could breed some more action. And hey, Chris, are you still back yet? No, okay, I guess not. So, pit lane is open, so we'll see a couple people pitting, and we'll have to see if Dabrowski pits in.
It takes long to load a nearly 2-hour-long replay.
This is true. All I think is clip the apron and turn 2, because there's a huge skid mark shooting up into the outside wall.
Oh, he got into cron push. He got into cron push. Then he was, well, he got to the inside, and then on the apron, on the grass, he was thrown back up into the wall, spinning multiple times, and then he rolled back onto the apron to spin after the full course yellow was called. He rolled back. Wow, come together with a leader.
And Dabrowski has done what I think some may regard as the stupid move of the race and not pit with worn tires. Those tires will be rock solid blocks of ice for this restart. I don't think he has any chance left.
I have the feeling he's not really aware of his tire situation.
I guess he'll find out the hard way fairly soon.
Now once again from the onboard here he comes together with cron push, and then he's sent spinning around, and then the full course caution appears. And here Helmberg is out of the pit lane.
Oh, I think Dabrowski's tires actually popped under caution. It cooled enough. Dabrowski's tire has popped. I'm looking at it on Force's view, or without any body on it. Yes, that is a flat tire on the 88 car.
And now he feels it.
Well, if he even feels it, it's under caution. I don't know if he will feel it. I don't know if he knows it popped.
So if he doesn't know,
He'll find out the hard way on the restart.
yes, and maybe not only him, but everyone else as well.
Well, he's fourth, so he should start on the outside, so he has only himself to screw up.
Okay, well...
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets any other tires popped here. Those left side tires are... Well, you know, the left side get very little work. Very little work on them when you're racing, so they're going to be rock cold anyway.
And he stays out. He is really not aware of anything.
So we go 1 to green, and here in about a minute and a half.
Maybe he's one of those
You'll find out.
hardliners. Maybe he's one of those hardliners who don't use any sort of HUD. One or the other is out there. Most likely, most lovely, they like to rant about any HUD feature you get, including some force view.
Oh, I think he's realized it and he's gonna try and tuck to pit lane this time.
Yes, it really seems so. Oh, he.
The administrator told him so.
Okay, he's diving in, passing the safety car.
Yep, that's I don't think that's gonna go over too well.
At least he knows how much you have to slow down to make that turn with an outside front flat tire.
So no passing until start finish line.
And drive through for him speeding on the pit lane, I guess.
So green flag back out. Dabrowski's out of it. And immediately falling into line, the top four.
Dump drafting their way to the lead, Blauhoff and Ivanov. Oh, and there goes...
Krampus gets to the wall! Krampus gets the wall. He'll lose well out.
Dump drafting on gold tires in turn 3, not a good combination.
So he goes from looking to be in the captain seat to let caution.
Especially in this race where the most laps doesn't really help you anyway. I mean, there are racing series out there using bonus points for most laps led, but as this is one single race, it doesn't really help you. And so Blauhoff and Ivanov are pulling away.
Dabrowski still on the lead lap at the tail end, albeit. He's got fresh boots on his vehicle.
Well, he can be called a lucky guy unless he gets penalized for overtaking the safety car. Has he already served his drive-through?
Johansson
Johnson
spectates.
retires. Holmberg pretty well restarted for him. Made up a couple of positions at least on track, though in the rankings he's quite far back. He's 2 laps down. The other car here in this 3-car group is Stephen Martin, who himself is 1 lap down. I guess those guys are hoping for cautions. There goes Dabrowski serving his penalty. That was rather close between Stephen Martin and Ronnie Kronbusch there. And this draft is not really working. The car is in front of him pulling away. Dabrowski makes his way into the pit lane.
Conradi and Schablom, I thought Conradi was going to be sideways in front of everyone there. It looked like a little bit of lag.
Front push lost overlap there. Over a second, sorry, not a lap. Losing a lap would be a rather very bad restart. And chat by Dabrowski. What is he arguing about? I didn't get that bit.
Yeah, he's challenging what happened, even though it was stated by the admins in TeamSpeak that what Kronbusch was doing was illegal. The admins state that if you're a single lead lap car or a single car that's ahead of a car that you would be blue flagging because you're a lap or more ahead of them, you can draft with them if it's just you two. Otherwise, lap car can stay with you, but you have to sit behind. So Dabrowski's sitting there.
What was realistic in that behavior? Well, we can answer that. It would be a disadvantage if a lapped car is in front of you if you're in a drafting group, but it would be no disadvantage if you're all by yourself and then draft with that lapped car. So a rage quit by .12 cars still in the race, 50 laps to go.
2 laps to go? No, there's more than 2 laps to go, son.
51 laps to go, I thought I had said.
Why did you say 2?
Okay, that would be 50 now, yeah. Alzheimer's already visiting me, I guess. Anyways.
No, that's just simple no ability to do maths.
Oh, that, yeah. So, we see that the drafting here of the Kronbusch group improves slightly. Don't know if that's already something you can see in the lap times. By the way, is Mr. Ford back?
Not sure about that, but got a 3-4 car battle here. with 53, 83, and 93. These three are bumping, and that could cause a bit of issue with the blue flagging rules here. Or caution could cause either.
Didn't I say that Steve Martin needs a caution to be on the lead lap? He would be happy. Yeah! And there goes the blue 53 car already in the wall. Sorry, 83 car. And another wiggle there. Group seems to be rather unsorted, and from the bottom Conradi is coming up. Although he's a single car, at least on the back straight he was a tiny little bit faster than the three in front of him. Three-way bump draft is now going on. In front of them, the Angel Power plus Safety Car Steve group seems to be much better sorted, it seems at least. "42 laps to go." So we've got the Universe, Live Universe and the rest all in front of us. Ivanov and Blorf dead tight at the line. Oh, contact by the Angel Power cars! Big time contact there, Capel and Donalik. And Donalik lost a bit of space there, and now the other three-car group is catching him. And they are on the outside lane there. So Denalik now fell back behind the three-car group. The three cars with everyone who has a 3 in his number. 53, 93 and 83. Contact! Spinning car! Into the pit lane he spins. That was Pulinj.
Pulinj sideways. Now roast his tires there, so I'll take a few laps to cool down. If he even elects to continue, or he may just pit here, get some fresh boots. He'll like to halt here for a brief bit for some fresh rubber.
Yeah, but he overshot the pit box there.
Hello.
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 I've awoken from my sleep.
Well,
Sleep.
you missed the yellow flag.
Tried to go back and look at the incident. About was it?
1 hour 50. It in the replay it should be around 1 hour 50 or so. Lap, I don't know. Was I think 30 no, yeah, about 30 laps ago.
Well, more importantly, the Dabrowski driver, I think is you just before you went off for your bit of kip. If you remember, we commented they didn't change tires. Well, his right front tire let go under the caution. He neglected to realize it until the half a lap before when the admin said, by the way, your tire might be flat there, son. And he overtook the rest of the queue ahead of him to get into the pit lane, and then when he gave him drive-through, he kind of complained about some blue flag people and went away. So he lost a competitor. And yeah,
How can you complain about blue flag cars on an oval?
well,
I don't understand.
the admins did say that if you're a blue flagged car and you happen to be approached by 2 or more cars that are battling for position and are a lap or more ahead of you, you can't actually be ahead of them. You can tag along behind them all you want, but you can't actually, try and race with them. Well, Crowdpush and one of the lap cars were all, doing the slingshot drafting thing, and that was kind of what Dabrowski was complaining about. He kind of went off in a bit of a huff, to say it more or less factually.
How did he not realise his tyre was burst as well? I'm just looking at the replay, and it's very burst. In fact, I think 2 tyres might be burst. Possibly
Yeah,
3.
I definitely saw one when I took the body off the view here, or just looked at the tires
The
generally.
force view he used.
Trundling around. Yes, the power of the force view. Well, good news though. The Angel Power guys are back together, so they can try and crash each other again, a la Simon and
Yippee.
Isaac and was still Elvis gang.
Though they didn't do that in their perfection as the back then Inex guys did that. Though I have to say I don't really. I feel so not up to date with those with the Inex guys. Some all of
Well, it's
sudden
not
they
even
were
an X
called.
anymore, so.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was Lowland Lions. I made out of
No, it's
them
Western
Lowland
Wolves.
and Lions. Western Wolves, they are now, yeah.
Maybe they bark at them.
Next time we Eastern Eagles. I've used that joke before, haven't I, on a broadcast, Eastern Eagles.
Oh, contact again by the Angel Power cars.
Yep. They're trying to
Denali-
catch safety car Steve off guard.
Using all
Yeah.
their Halo power.
Yes, Denali on the
Again!
outside and
We got God on our side, boys! Ironic given its oval race. Sorry, that was a terrible joke again, crikey. Oh wow. Jokes are terrible. As bad as the one my dad told at the dinner table tonight about steaks and vampires. Which is just terrible, but still, it's up there.
Ooh. I think they should stick to bump drafting because when they start to slingshot draft, they crash each
It
other.
goes very well.
Yeah. But well, okay, better not bump draft then because what would happen then? Oh, that was close between Dynamic and Stephen Martin.
Of course, these three students here of safety car Steve, Donalik, and Kapal show up often in India and other.
Are they not all
major
in
series?
different laps as well? Just to say, sort of point that out there. They're not badly over position here. They're all. Donald
Yes!
is 4th on 190 laps. Martin is 6th on 189, and Kapal is 8th on 188. Tongs.
30 to go, and Ithelo.
Bye, Philo. You had to go. Cause your German internet stopped working for some reason. Hello, little Thilo. You should stop singing now. I forgot that he hasn't typed out a TeamSpeak, so this is actually still live. Oops.
Yes, it was live. It was all live.
Commentary line of the year 2012.
Yes.
If
You
anyone
witnessed it
remembers
out there,
that.
guys.
Come that time.
Oh dear.
Chris singing on realistic NASCAR Kyoto
I did
400
some singing
screen.
in Super GT as well with Thilo versus Windows 7 as well. Bit more of a rap though.
But back then, no one could hear it because I was
they
fighting.
could, because I heard it on the broadcast when I rewatched it the other day. It was another
okay.
point. So maybe that's gonna be my new thing, singing on the broadcast. I thought you typed out TeamSpeak as well, but you haven't. So.
No, 2 different computers.
Oh darn! Oh well.
Speaking of Super GT, Chris, you know, we got the final round next weekend. What are your thoughts about that? You should have a good battle between Western Wolves, Inex, Lowland, whatever they're called. It's gonna be called that week, and Speedo.
Lowland Wolf X.
Eastern Eagles, come on. Belligerent Bears, I don't know what they'll call themselves next, but yeah, no, it should be interesting. It's more of an XRR track, I'd imagine. I think Genuine Racing should be strong there. They were strong at West Hill as well. So yeah, I think it could very well be an XRR track. I think GT3, it'll be interesting to see how the Speedo GT3 gets on against the F-Star of Vortex. That could be interesting, but I think it's likely, unless Western Wolves continue their
Eastern Eagles.
stumble towards the championship, that they will wrap it up in GT5, and I expect Vortex probably will in GT3 as well. Sorry to be a bit boring, but it sort of feels as though that's the most likely outcome for next weekend's races.
On the whole, though, the Super GT season has been pretty entertaining. We had a little bit of dull West Hill round, but West Hill can sometimes lead to dull-ish looking racing. But on the whole, decent season.
You know, yeah. It's been a good season, yeah. I don't think you could say anything other than that. It's been interesting, that's for sure.
Apart from that one Aston track, what was that? Oh, the Aston Open config they used.
Oh, that was fun because we got to see how people reacted to back markers, and it wasn't very good.
Oh yeah, everyone batting off back markers every chance they got.
Yes.
25 laps to go.
25 more, turning left. Certainly be one of Blauhole and Ivanov, that's for sure.
Yep, these two will. I'll let Thalo say it, and we can have the commentators curse strike again, possibly.
Well, I mean, we had the commentators Kurt with IRM. We somehow also had it with Angel Power
I think that was
Racing.
just comic irony, actually.
Yeah.
Of course, you wouldn't get being a German.
I don't. Yeah. Well, it could be true. Some slow car on track.
I see a yellow
upside
flag.
down! Pull-inch is upside down! That must be a caution! That is a caution!
How did that happen? He's in the middle of the street! I think that's one thing I'm gonna go and have a little look at.
Let's hope that
Yes,
the
Zeno
safety
and
car...
Chris, you've got replays.
Yeah, I will show that in a second. Let's hope the safety car driver actually here's to director says. There's also a very nice video about not listening to the what race director says.
Inside! Inside!
There comes... Oh! There comes the rescue car to flip. We're here at a realistic NASCAR race, so if you wonder if that is allowed, well,
Dropped
they do it.
Dropped it on his own, basically. He was up behind Shoblom. Oh, goodness sake. I can't pronounce names again. How did you pronounce the IRM guy who begins with an S, his name earlier, Theo?
Sjoblom.
Sjoblom. Okay, right, okay, that'll do. He was up behind him, and he was bumping him, and he just appeared to lose on the exit of turn 2, just slammed himself into a wall. Dangers of bump drafting in the corner, well shown there.
Pit lane open here while cleanup continues on the back straightaway.
Yeah, rescue carring's going very well.
Wasn't that one of the reasons why we dropped it in NDR?
Yes.
So somehow my replay died. For no particular reason. It ends at 5 minutes something.
Maybe as well using a barrier at this moment.
Oh wait, no, I think a barrier bug is gone away, so...
No, it still works.
No, it isn't.
No, that's different then. I don't think they want to...
Try come out in RB4 as well. And ram him.
No, I think Kid's got this.
So, you guys out there, by chance I'll upload... Oh, yeah, we... Yes!
Wow!
He did it!
Thilo, if you've got onboards working, go on board with that car right this second. It's unbelievable.
Oh dear.
In real life, his head would be Gordon Smiley'd. If you don't know who Gordon Smiley is, go look it up on YouTube.
That is awesome. Roll cage what?
I don't have a roll, no. Stop doing American accents, goodness sake. I don't have a roll cage. What are you talking about?
And somewhat of a green car in front of him, ground pusher in the pits.
So the admin's sorting out the field here before we can go back to the green flag action.
And sorting you back to your box as well.
I'll go back there momentarily.
Hopefully nobody will hit you.
This is not Super GT practice.
Yes. And that's Stephen Martin got his lap back. So he'll be on the lead lap and in 6th spot. spot. That's good news for him.
He will be outside of Crown Push on the restart.
Okay, so we will have 6 cars on the lead lap as we go back to green flag ladies. That'll be quite interesting if they can keep up with each other. Blauhoff and Ivanov
One
did
to green
have...
at the line, coming up.
Blauhoff and Ivanov did have a good lead, of course, before, which has been completely dismantled by the safety car. 19 laps to go. Blauhoff, Ivanov, Donalik, Zlatev, Grompos, Martin. Those are the 6 going for the victory today.
Just hearing from race director Cameron Corns, who has the nationwide race on and the TV up there in race control. Danica Patrick, everyone's favorite person, has crashed. Head on the outside wall for great justice.
Yeah, boy, I mean girl.
Booyah! Not that we wish any harm on racing.
No, we just wish that she
go away.
Wouldn't get the ridiculous amount of coverage she gets. Is that fair? Yes.
I think
Yes,
that's perfectly fair. Oh my god, you won the ball! Oh, Christ. For great justice. So that's 2 crashes in as many races in Speed Weeks, right? Her Gatorade Duel and now her nationwide race.
Right.
I think she should take the hint.
Go back to IndyCars, that was at least not that crashy.
Alright, here we go, green.
Oh wait, only 5
okay.
it's over,
Yep.
so...
We'll have 18 go at the green flag, ready for the restart. On the other restarts, we've seen the leader get a good jump on everyone, and then get swallowed up all sandwich style, steak style, spud style. Here we go for the restart here. 18 to go. Blauhoff, Ivanov, Donalik, Krampus. Green flag is out.
The front row wasn't double there. Surprised that was let go. Ivanov and Blauhoff getting away. Bit dodgy though, I think. They're supposed to be double all the way to the line and it wasn't.
So Ivanov and Blauhoff getting away ahead. Top turbo formation dancing team up top. Everyone else behind. Holmberg Holmberg's 2 laps down, so he's not
Yet again, this feels like Ivanov and Blauhoff have got the jump on everybody, and it feels like it's going to be one of those 2.
Holmberg's getting flagged out of the way.
Oh!
Whoa!
Grompus is getting pushed up. Oh, Ivanov! Drafting in the corner again there. The dangers, but he managed to hold it. These two getting quite a rack actually.
Yeah, and this could let Donalik and Krampus catch up, especially if
Very
they get
erratic
too
here,
erratic.
Krampus.
Yes.
Yep, we have a good battle here now, I think. Oh! Krampus almost into Ivanov there. But I think did they just drop Donalik? No, not quite. Donalik's still there. He's just out of my shot. So this is a 4-car draft now. Interesting.
Oh, Donalik!
Donalik to the inside, and he's going to get hit by Krampus.
Oh!
Krampus,
Brilliant stay!
Oh, and this is very erratic. static. Let's put it this way, this is no holds barred oval racing. These guys want to win, and they're making their move as quickly as they possibly can to win this race.
15 laps to go now. That Donnelly maneuver there, that's kind of like Ken O'Keefe in the 2010 Kyoto 250. He shot himself off to the inside of the track, losing the lead pack. But that happened with 2 or 3 to go. This happened with 16 to go. There's still time for him to work his way back up if he can.
For the first time since the pit stops and the third yellow, Kronbusch is back in the lead.
Ivanov right on the back bumper of Kronbusch. Blauhoff stays with.
Contact with the wall! Contact!
I think it's safe to say now that the victory will come from one of these three. A bit of contact there between Blauhoff and Ivanov again. I don't think it was intentional that time. I don't think it was meant to bump. They're just getting a bit crossfired in the 3-car draft that they currently have. Have they dropped Kronbusch?
Not yet, no.
No.
Blauhoff right there, and so Kronbusch is back.
One of these 3 will win it if they can avoid taking each other out, is the critical term. We've seen them be a bit helter-skelter here in these first few laps. Hopefully they've settled down after the initial chaos of the restart. But again, of course, anything can happen. 12 to go when they get to the straight. I have a feeling Kronbusch is going to be more or less content with hanging out back, just tagging along, and he might try to make his move come to the finish and snooker both of these guys. He's got to stay with him for 11 and a half more laps. Caution out! Huge crash between turns 1 and 2. Stephen Martin is involved. Holmberg involved. Kapal involved. Stefanov involved.
And again we've got Pulinch upside down.
Blinge sent to spectate after this most recent flip.
I give my Live for Speed another chance to show me the replay.
So a huge trail of skid marks here, leading from the exit of turn 1 all the way towards where the Kyoto National Circuit turns off. Pit lane is open.
So sadly the replay function is broken.
Oh, really?
This time it tried to show me everything until 15 minutes into the race.
That's not good. 10 laps to go now. 6-4, Mark Kapal, the free pass car.
Yeah, it looks like Martin's got a lot of damage and struggling to maintain the car, going in a straight line at the moment. And there we go, around again at the 4th time in this lap. He's spun, he's definitely going to lose a lap now, I'd imagine. He's going to get stuck by the looks of it. might be needed, Deco. No, he's going again. Sort of. Oh, he's stuck. Deco needs to get over there, I think. There we go. Punt. And away he goes.
So safety car Steve having a bit of issues getting back to the pit lane.
On board with Jonathan Palmer.
So Steve makes it in the pits to effect some repairs here. So should have about 6 or so laps, I presume, when we get back to green flag here for the finish of this race. And we'll get 1 to green at the line this time by. Chris, how about a restart order?
Restart order is Lauhoff, Ivanov, Kromos, Zlatev and Donalik. They are your top... No, actually Donalik's ahead of Zlatev, it's a bit of Belfast bug there. As your race for the win today. First lap down cars, Pal, Holmberg, Martin slots in down 8th after that crash. Then Stefanov, Schloblom and Conradi filing out the 11 cars that remain.
Tires pretty old here, so it's going to be a pretty bit of ice skating towards the checkers. Race control just reminding everyone, no overtaking before start finish line. All those will be reviewed post-race. So there's a very minimal chance that overtaking before start finish will be... Safety car spun coming into pit lane. Here we go for the restart. 7 to go at the line. Checkers or wreckers, you could say.
More likely wreckers, I suppose. Again, the top two, not really a double file as to go over the line, but they're away again.
Oh, contact there!
Contact.
Front push with Donalik.
Grumpers need another caution, and it needs to be a quick one for him to have a chance to stay with, or he needs to work, him and Donalik to work perfectly together to catch up these two. He needs a bit of excessive contact, bit of problems here with the top two, Ivanov and Blauhoff. They stay side by side, that'll help Grumpers and Donalik.
One of the RM cars in the wall up there.
Six laps to go now.
Oh, contact around early Kapal, no! He's held it somehow. Zlatev came down on Kapal in a big way and made contact side to side doors. They're trying to file through there on the underpass there. And then, well, it's a miracle that Kapal managed to hold that in turn 1. He got pushed onto the apron to keep the car going, and it's still right there.
Ivanov nearly screws the wall out of turn 3. 5 fingers up, handful of laps to go.
And Kronbusch is nearly on the back of the top 2 draft. Not quite.
He needs help from Ivanov and Blauhoff making some mistakes. He needs help from Dodelijk to catch him. 4.5 to go.
I think now for either Ivanov or Blauhoff to be not the victor of this race, it needs a massive, massive bit of lag contact. Kronbusch is right there actually, though, looking at it. Kronbusch and Dodelijk are not too far away. They just need one good lap to get there, I think, but I don't think they're close enough to each other to be quite there to get it, so...
I don't know if they're drafting well enough either.
Yes, I don't think they are
They
really.
bumped there right there.
When will they start defending the inside line, these top 2? That is actually possibly a chance for Dodelijk and Kronbusch to get up there, because these two will start to defend the inside line, and you know what will happen then? They'll start slowing up because they drafted.
Exactly.
If those two keep drafting until the end, one of them might have a chance to slingshot out of the final corner and get a chance, get a run on the top 2. But at the moment it's looking unlikely. Ivanov, Blauhoff, Kronbusch, Dodelijk, your top 4.
All on the lead lap, though any of those 4 can win if anything happens to any of the others. They've got to make it 2.5 more laps. Ivanov taps the brakes a little to try and keep Blauhoff in the draft. Two to go.
Next time by will be white flag lap, and it looks as though the other two behind Ivanov and Blauhoff, that is Kronbusch and Dodelijk, are not going to get there, I don't think. I suspect not, now, that's for sure. I think it'll definitely be on this white flag, a straight duel between the Speedo racing car and the genuine racing driver. Ivanov and Blauhoff going for the final time on this pit straight. 1 to go, Jonathan and Thilo.
Starter, white flag in hand, it goes up. Who will have the lead going out of turn 2? That is the critical point.
Ivanov seems to want to lead the front at the moment. Will he defend down to turn number 1? Will he go to the inside to try and stop Blauhoff attacking? It doesn't look like it. He's leaving Ivanov Blauhoff a chance, but he comes down and doesn't let Blauhoff have the inside line. So there's your block. There's your first block. There's a good chance. Blauhoff has to... He has to time this to perfection.
Oh,
he's hit the wall! He's hit the wall! I think it's all over, maybe. Is he still in range? I think he might just still be.
Final turn. Down the stretch they come. Ivanov. Blauhoff's got the draft. He waited. Blauhoff comes to the outside. And who's going to get it? Blauhoff. Blauhoff gets it by 5 inches.
0.02 seconds.
Time to perfection.
Incredible! Blauhoff putting his oval experience, all of experience to work, snookering Ivanov out of the final turn.
Yeah, I thought Ivanov had that, I really did. It looked as though he'd just done enough to maintain just enough of a gap, but at the last second Blauhoff caught the draft and was through on the outside. Absolutely nothing Ivanov could do to defend that draft and that run that Blauhoff had there.
A good sporting race between these two for the last laps.
Oh indeed, that really was nice and clean. Only bit of defending really was done in the whole race was in turn number 2. Ivanov did not let Blauhoff straight past him, which was perfectly fine and dandy on that last lap. And on the way to the line, I really did think Ivanov had done everything he needed to there, and Blauhoff just made it at the end there. Unbelievable, really. Unbelievable finish.
Blauhoff land out and rubber and a burnout.
A few donuts there.
Well, unfortunately, we can't get Raymond. He's got some TeamSpeak issues, so it won't work. He broke he broke the cord for his microphone, I presume. So this inaugural Kyoto 400, down to the wire. I think we could have called any time during the race. It would have been between Blauhoff, Ivanov, Krampusch. Any of those three really could have won it. I think it was a great, a little boring on that green flag run. So I think that unless Steelo, can you get a replay that finish just to re-show everyone?
Oh, let's try it. I mean,
I think that deserves another look.
no, the replay stops at 29. Strange. Okay.
Oh, eh? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I don't know how to call it otherwise.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
So it started all over again with the replay. Okay, here we are. Final lap. Ivanov up in front, Blauhoff behind. Turn 2. And then here he was in the wall. Both had a big wiggle there through turn 3. And then he used the draft until 2 inches or so, and Ivanov actually made the mistake. He didn't stick to the inside line. He tried to defend once more his position. Watching it now on board with Blauhoff. Here we see him, and instead of driving directly over the line, he does a slight wiggle to the right, and this might have cost him the win.
Well, I'm getting some comments from Raymond in the TeamSpeak chat that I'll relay. Christino, after I comment them off, feel free to relay any questions to me. I can ask him if you want. We'll start off with his thoughts on the race. Quoting Raymond Blauhoff in TeamSpeak. Yeah, the race went great from the beginning. Always near the front. After the stop, I came out in an empty space. No one around me to slipstream with, so I was happy a caution came out. The work with number 17 was great. That's number 17 being Ivanov. Getting some more information from Blauhoff here. Yeah, I think we saw this. We'll comment. I think we saw this. What he said here. Every restart, take more risk to get away, and once they had the gap. So yeah, Blauhoff says, every restart, we would take a bit more risk to get away, and once we had the gap, we could take it a bit more easy and safe. '17 struggled a bit at the end and at the last corner. Some understeer, I guess, from number 17. Very confident there at the very end of the race. Finish was closer than he wished for. Closer than Blauhoff wished for. Not good for my heart rate. I don't think any of ours either, guys. Claims' heart rate went up to about 200 beats per minute again in the last meters of the race. We're continuing quote Raymond Blauhoff. In the end, I want to thank 17 for the good work. The admins and especially Corny. He did superb. So those are the comments from Raymond. I think that pretty much covers everything we'd want to ask. I don't think either of you have any comments or questions for him.
It really covers up everything, at least I wanted to know of him.
Alrighty. Chris, if you're still here, we'll get some final thoughts from you also. Well, we'll start with... Chris, are you still here first off? Well, while I try to get Chris...
Well, I
your
can
thoughts on
show...
the race.
By the way, I can show a replay now of the big one we had. Just a...
Oh, do that.
Yes. So, the one that Polinch ended up upside down and retired. So... We're coming out of turn 1, and Holmberg and Donalik had come together. And because of this come together, you see on the top edge of the screen, slight tap by Holmberg. Donalik nearly spun, hit the wall, the outside wall. Holmberg also spinning, then tried to recover, to get his car straight again, and then he slided with the other side. He hit the 93 car on the driver's door. And because of lag and simultaneously hitting the front of Donalik, he was pushed upside down, and then he rolled from the middle of the back of the straight between turn 1 and 2 into nearly the middle of turn 2. And I think we had another caution in between. Oh no, that was just the restart. So yeah, that's the summary of the last caution, which actually brought us in, brought those 3 guys back together.
Alrighty, well, that's all your replay reviewing. I think it's time for some final thoughts. We'll start with you, Thilo.
So I think that this was a great race. We had a great green flag run. Of course, green flag run on a on live stream with no commercial breaks or something like they do in real life. It can get a bit boring for us. I hope we covered it with some good topics. A green flag run of over 100 laps. Great stuff. Of course, at the end, a few cautions, but that really spiced up the racing here. I think, especially Blohoff was up there all day, and Ivanov as well. Kronpush said that he was beaten by Donalik to the line, but Donalik was there right for the moment, right for this final few meters of the race. So yeah, well deserved win. Yes, and that's my summary of the race.
Alrighty, Chris, you with us? Mr. Ford, are you roundabouts? Well, I guess not. I think we can speak for him safely and say that he was... I think he'll be pretty impressed with that finish. Good strategy from Blauhoff. Good racing. You definitely, I think, will appreciate the sportsmanlike driving. I appreciated sportsmanlike driving also. It was a great, brilliant show from those two. They worked well together. They little bit touch and go there on those last few restarts, but hey, it got them out ahead. Good chasing from Dohanik and Kronpush. At the end, though, commend Kronpush. He got the fastest lap of the race, 37.8. So fastest lap for Kronpush on that of all the finishing drivers. So I think we can finish out. I'd like to thank all the admins who helped out today's race for Realistic NASCAR. Sobis, Cameron Corns, of course, the head race director, Jonathan Provost and Zdenek Kagash, and Katia, some others around. Plenty of admins around. And of course, I'd like to thank Thilo for providing the stream solution. And Chris Ford for joining us as much as he did during the race. And of course, thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. Once again, congratulations to Raymond Blauhoff, winner of the inaugural Realistic NASCAR Kyoto 400. For Thilo Falkenberg and Chris Ford, John Palmer saying so long, everyone.